Hey everybody, this is Jen with Genco Designs. Today we are going to do our first video to create this holiday scene. Today we're going to work on the text, and in the next video hopefully we'll get the tree done and the background. If not, there'll be 2 more videos. So let's focus on the text. I'm going to show you how to make these peas, the legs a little bit longer. I'm going to show you how to insert a pixel layer as a texture into text, and how I just moved the letters around to create a more festive look. Okay, so I've got another document open here. What we want to do is we want to turn this into, right now it's text, and I use the Jeepers font, which is a free font. I'll put a link to it in the description below here. So what we want to do is, these are currently text items as identified here in your layers panel. What we want to do is turn them into vector objects so we can modify the legs here on the peas. Okay, so what I want to do that, I'm going to go ahead and select the text, and I'm going to go up to layers up here, and I'm going to do convert to curves. You can either do it from here, or you can do it from your context toolbar, which runs across the top here, and convert to curves is always on the far right. Okay, so we're going to convert that to curves, and you'll notice in your layers panel now that each individual letter is its own object. Okay, so that's what we wanted to have happen. We want to focus on this P, and if you notice, if you try to like make the leg longer just by doing this, it actually distorts the whole letter. So change it by actually modifying the leg itself. So we're going to zoom in a little bit, and I'll show you how I did that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup the word happy, because when I try to grab things, I'll end up grabbing the group, and I don't want to do that. So I want to work on just this one P. To get this, what I want to do is I want to break this P into 2 pieces, the top part and the bottom part. To do that, there's probably multiple ways to do this, but the way that I do it is I create a rectangle, goes across like that. So you have that selected, hold down the shift key. Let me get my cursor back, my selector back. Okay, then hold down the shift key and select the P. So you've got the 2 items selected. You want to come up to your geometry tools up in the upper right hand corner, and you want to hit subtract. And what it does is it takes that rectangle and subtracts it from the layer below. Okay, but now we have the 2 items, but they're still in the same, they're still grouped as the same item. Okay, what we need them to do is be separate so that I can pull the bottom down here. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer. So I come to the layers panel, and right click on the layers panel and hit duplicate. Okay, so now you see there's 2 here. Now I'm not going to move them off of off of the top of each other. I want them to be there, but I will put a lock on one. Okay, so that I don't actually do anything to it. So we're going to work on this. Actually, we'll lock the bottom one, and we'll unlock the top one. Okay, so we're going to work on this top one. What we're going to end up doing is to create the top and the bottom on separate layers. On each layer, I'm going to remove one layer. I'll remove the top part of the P, and the other layer I'll remove the bottom part. So then we'll end up with the 2 different pieces on different layers. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to go ahead and get my node tool over here out of the tool panel, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight these nodes and delete them, and hit the delete key. Okay, it's a little bit time consuming, but this is how I do it. I'm going to go ahead and put the video on pause and complete this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now you'll notice that I have in the layers panel, I have the top of the P in one layer and the bottom in another layer. Okay, so now what I can do, and I'll go out of my node tool by using the V to get your selector tool back. I'm going to bring this down, zoom out a little bit so you can kind of get an idea how long you want it. Something like that. And okay, now I'll select the top P, and what I want to do is I want to go back to the node tool. Okay, because I want to bring these nodes down and connect down here. Okay, so I just drag these nodes down and connect down here. Okay. Now to make it all one unit again, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I have the top layer selected. Get my selector tool back, and then the bottom layer selected, top layer selected, hold down the shift key, bottom layer selected, and I want to go up to the back up to the geometry tools, and I want to hit add, and what that does is creates it all into one piece again. So now if you go back out here, what you have, I'll get my other selection tool back with V on your keyboard, you have the original and you have the longer leg. So you only have to do this once, of course, because you can come up to this one and delete it. You can go to this one, right click, copy, and paste, and pull it right over. Okay. So that's how I actually modified the individual lettering. So, and then to move it around, I just, had a little fun, you want to make it look a little bit more festive, so it's not like right out of the box. And we are supposed to be having a happy holiday, so just adjust a little bit like that. Okay, so that's how I created that part. That's how I adjusted the lettering as far as the way that it looks. Now let's work on how I inserted the pixel layer in. To do that, I want to go back and turn this all into a group. So highlight the first layer in the layers panel, hold down the shift key, highlight the bottom layer, and then you can do Command G or Control G to create a group. And we'll name our group. Okay, so there we have happy as a group. Now I want to create a pixel layer. So we're going to need 2 layers. Let me go back and show you the result. Okay, so this is the final result. This is actually 2 layers. There is a layer here for the outline, and then there's a layer that the pixel layer sits on. If I said that very clear, but there's 2 layers. So when we're back at this document, we're going to duplicate this layer. Right click and hit duplicate or Command J, and this particular layer, we want to have a stroke, so we need to do that on individual letters. So highlight your letters and come up to your stroke panel. And to see this, we need to turn off the visual of the layer below so that we can see it. Okay. We have our color is white. That's good. Stroke panel. We need a little bit thicker, I think. Oh, maybe something like that. Okay. So there we have our outline group. So we're going to call that the happy outline. Okay? There's not much more we're going to do with that, so we're going to go ahead and lock that group. Alright, so now we want to create the pixel layer that's going to go on the lettering. So what we want to do is we want to go to our pixel persona, which is up in the upper left hand corner, so select that. We're going to create a new pixel layer, which you can do down here. It's the center one, the bottom of your layers panel. It's this center one right here. Creates a new pixel layer. And we'll select our brush from the brushes tool over here. We're going to go to our texture brushes. And I'm pretty sure this one comes with Affinity Designer. So we're going to go to our texture brushes. We're going to go down to this one here, 205. Now, there is a lot to brushes. There's a whole panel that, if you double click it, that shows up. There are a lot of variables here to change, to play with. feel free to do that. I have to do that on a completely different video. There is just a lot there to learn. But you can do the basic changes and adjustments up on the context toolbar that runs across the top of your work area. So this is the size, the flow, the hardness that we're going to use. And what I want to do is I want to just be able to see the outline of where I'm going to shade. So I'm going to turn this layer off. Okay, so there's our outline. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of put some snow in there. Okay, that's just a little bit of happy snow around. All right, now I want to add those circles too. So while I'm still in the pixel layer, I'm going to change my brush. I'm going to go up to assorted brushes, and I'm going to pick the okay, that's number 21. So there are 21 pixels. To give you an idea that about that size, I'm going to make them a little bit larger. Okay, and we'll see how that works. We have white. Okay, so we use about a size 47. And we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle some of these on here. All right. So that's our pixel layer. What we want to do is we want to take this pixel layer and we're going to put it right in there. And it's not showing yet. There it is. So if you notice, I put it right. See where the pink line goes, and it goes to right here on the side of this square right here. If you notice that. Here, I'll take it out again. Okay, so now it's on top. You take the pixel layer, you drag it in until it is, see that little pink bar to the right of the, that's where you want to do it, and creates the mask. And then it goes inside of the lettering. And that's why we created a separate layer to do the outline. Okay, so if I shut that off, you can see just how the pixel layer is just inside the lettering, and then the outline is separate. If you do the outline as part of this, then where the pixels go through would also interfere. You wouldn't get a solid stroke. You wouldn't get a solid outline on the lettering. So you need to do that as a separate layer so it's a nice solid outline. Okay, so now you'll see that we have Happy Holidays, just like that. We've created the same. Of course, you can use any text. You want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. You can use it for all occasions. But this is a great example of how you can use pixel layers and turning your text into vector objects to create really unique digital art and something fun to share with your friends over the holidays. So on our next video, we'll go over the Christmas tree, and if we have time, we'll do the background. If not, we'll do that in a separate video as well. But hope you got something out of the video. Hope you learned something. If you did, click those buttons, like, share, and subscribe. It really does make a difference. I really have fun making these videos for you, and that's really what it's all about for me. So have a great time. Happy holidays, and we'll see you in the next video.